Hi, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram and Etsy. Welcome along. This is FlossTube number 9 and today is Sunday the 8th of November, which here in the UK and I'm sure all around the world is Remembrance Sunday. Armistice Day is actually on Wednesday the 11th, so I'm wishing you all some peaceful remembrance time for those of you who like to look back and remember those who have gone before, and also those who are currently serving in the military forces all around the world. It's been an interesting week for me. The week before last was half term, so it's been 2 weeks since I've done a normal update video. The week before last was half term. We were all in lockdown, didn't go anywhere, didn't really do anything. It was terrible weather. It absolutely hammered it down. Oh, heavy. Absolutely hammered it down all the way through the half term. This week, obviously, because we've been back to school, it's been glorious weather. But we've only had year 7 and 8 in actual school this week, with year 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13 doing home study in accordance with the Welsh fire break. So I know the rest of England are all now on lockdown, and also Scotland and Ireland, I think, for the most part, although it keeps changing all the time. It's quite hard to keep up with everything. But whatever you're doing, I hope you're getting lots of extra stitchy time in, and that you're safe and that you're well, and that all those that you love are safe and are well. And I put my glasses on today, but I'm getting really bad reflection on them, so I'm just going to pop them up out of the way. So, with the fact that it's Remembrance Sunday today and then Armistice Day on Wednesday, my freebie today is actually a really lovely one from Plum Street Samplers. It's available on their blog. I'm going to hold it back a little bit here. It is a free chart, but you should go along and put the trade on their or put the traffic on their blog spot. I'll link it down below, but it's called a Patriot Sampler. So it's got a field of poppies, has got an American flag in the middle there, which would be fabulous for most people, or many people watching this. I'm probably just going to pop an extra poppy in there instead of the American flag, but it says, "We cherish to the poppy red that grows on fields where valour led. It seems to signal to the skies that blood of heroes never dies," which I think is really appropriate for this time of year. And actually I'm really looking forward to stitching this one, because I want to make it into a pillow with some kind of ribbon on the back of it, because every year the Royal British Legion does these lovely poppy pins here with the year on them, and I pick up a new one every year, and whichever sort of special edition ones that they have. I know there's a VJ one out at the moment as well, so I need to grab that one. But I want to be able to sort of attach them to my pillow in terms of so I can see my collection grow through the years. It's a really funny light here today. It's absolutely gloriously bright, but big clouds keep coming over. So I have got a lot to share with you today. I've got some finishes, no FFOs, but I've got finishes, I've got some happy mail, some plans, lots of whips, and lots of other probably useless chit chat along the way. You know how it goes. So I'm going to start off with my finishes, and it probably, those of you who follow me either through the channel or through Instagram won't be surprised that my first finish, it's not 100% finished actually. I do have to put some beads on it, but it's a cross stitching finish, and this is Santa's Trips by Barbara Anna. It's a stitch along that's been going since August, I think, via Creative Poppy. And actually, if you're interested, Barbara Anna's just done another Christmas SAL with Creative Poppy, which has only just started, which is it's like a Christmas cake with these same sort of style little houses on it. So this is my finish. As I said, it's not quite finished yet because there is some little snowflakes in various of the 9 patches that I want to put on with beads. So let's see if I can hold this up a little bit closer. As I've said all along, this has been my favourite thing this year. Absolutely 100% enjoyed it. And I did just put a little 20 there for 2020 just at the bottom, just to remember which year it was I actually stitched it. We always think we remember these things forever, won't we? But in 10 years time I won't remember what year it was. Well, I might actually. There's lots of things I might remember doing this year because because of what's been going on this year, but let's hope that 2021 just comes in, sits down quietly, gets on with its work, doesn't create a fuss. That's what we all want, isn't it? Just come in, sit down quietly, get on with your work. So there's that one. I'm going to have it framed. It is going to go to Cotswold Art Supplies in Stow on the Wold as soon as I can get it there. In fact, I spoke to them this week, and although they're on lockdown, the lady who does the framing is going to be in, catching up and getting through stuff with nobody else in the building. So I'm going to post them. I'm going to post them to my mum, this one and Mary Clayton, and Mum is going to drop them in through the door. She knows what I want doing with them anyway, so I think that's about the only way I'm going to get them done this side of Christmas. So that's my first finish. My second finish is something I've shown before, which is pretty close, but I've been inspired by Debbie, who has the Creatively Yours channel that I'll link below. And she is doing basically a can I finish it? What can I get done? What can I get finished before the end of the year? So I've sort of taken a leaf out of her book, and the thing that was probably closest to a finish was this one. Sorry, I've got so much stuff piled up around the place. And little secret, I haven't really cleared up since the last time, so I've got twice the stuff. This one by, okay, that's better, Plum Street Samplers, Yuletide Shanty. I said to you, I think when I showed you this before, that from this picture I probably would never have bothered stitching this. But what you can't see on the picture is there's a beautiful big whale there. And also on the bottom, although it is shown up here, there is a saying on the bottom. But I saw somebody, and I can't remember who it was now, who had stitched it and made it, and I couldn't order it fast enough from then. So this is my finish. I have to be careful because there's another piece of stitching on the bottom of this that I haven't quite finished. There's a needle sticking out of it. So this is obviously the band that goes round, and I'm going to put some beads as well. There's lots of little bubbles that come up from the fish and through the whale and these fish over here. So I'm going to put some little sort of Mill Hill clear blue, clear glass beads on there just for the bubbles. But I probably won't do that until I have put the lining on the back. So I'll probably make the band, line it on the back, and then I'll attach the beads, because it's really hard to get that lining to stick sometimes nice and evenly if it's working on top of beads as well. And if you've got the choice, then I would always rather do the beads or the buttons after I've done the lining. And there's the little ship on the top, and then this is the base. So it says, Old Saint Nick, he sails the seas, his beard grows long so he won't freeze. So I like that one. So that's my second finish. I have started trying to finish off some of those other pieces that I know I've had around for a little while, and I want to get them done. But I'm just a little bit cautious of the fact that what I'm doing is working around and getting all the easy bits done and getting all the little ones done, and potentially what I'm going to be left with at the end of December, or whenever I decide to sort of finish this, can I finish it, is that I'm going to be left with just all the big stuff. So I'm going to have to put some time into some of the big stuff soon. Otherwise I'm just going to be left with 30 big things rather than 45 big and small things. So that's my 2 finishes this week. So I'm going to do some happy mail next, because I've got some happy mail, and then I'll show you the whips after that, just because of the way I have sort of stacked things to try and show you. So my first bit of happy mail comes from Christina, who is the brains behind Wild Iris Naps, and I'll link them down below. Now, Wild Iris Naps is probably one of the newest companies that chart samplers, reproduction samplers, and she's doing fantastic. They are so beautiful, these samplers. You really got it. If you haven't had a chance to have a look and go and see the types of samplers that she's been reproducing and then selling the charts for, then you really need to go and have a look if you're into samplers at all. And they're all PDF downloads, so you can get your hands on them straight away. Now, she saw on one of my videos that I had stitched the Without a Mouse. Sorry, it's so tactile. That she saw that I'd stitched Without a Mouse, and she commented that she'd wanted to stitch it. Now the pattern for that is quite hard to find in the UK. I got it from Peakside, and I know they're out of stock at the moment. So I said I'll send it to you, no problem. I'll send it to you. And so I did. I sent it to her, and she very kindly then offered that if I wanted to borrow something in return, that I could. So I saw that she had this of the Reward of Merits, which is called Spell of the Moon. Now I've always wanted to do Spell of the Moon, so I asked her if I could borrow this one, and she very graciously allowed me to borrow it, even though she's not finished stitching it yet. But I will finish this up really quickly and get it back to her straight away. So Christina, if you're watching, I don't want my my other one back. You pass it on to somebody else. So this one I will get back to her. But she also included some extra goodies. So because she knows my difficulties with scissors, she sent me some scissors. Now I love this brand. This is actually one of my favourite brands of scissors. So really good if you're looking for a lovely pair of scissors that are not going to break the bank. She sent me a lovely card as well with a lovely message in it, and she also sent me this little bag. Now it says here, upside down, some more threads for your advent calendar, Christmas Day perhaps. So she knows that I've been collecting threads to make an advent calendar, make my own floss calendar this year, so she sent me some extra ones for that. So I've said thank you already, but thank you so much, Christina. That's such a lovely happy mail to get. It's always nice to get something that's not a bill. And I also got some happy mail, sorry I've just shaken you, from a lady called Sylvia Ward. Now Sylvia Ward runs, now let me get this right, S Ward Designs on Etsy, and she's from the States, and she asked would I try some of her record cards that she's got. So these are her record cards that she's done. And so basically they're perfect size, they're A5 size for you to pop into your project bags. Words today need to come. Pop into your project bags, and you can record all those important things like the name, the designer, the fabric, when you start it, when you finish it. But it's also really nice that you can just circle or tick or highlight which days you've worked on. And on the back, so that's 2020, and then on the back you've got 2021 and 2022 as well. So if you're interested in grabbing some of these, go and have a look at her Etsy shop. She is out of the States, but she was doing free delivery, so definitely go and check and see what the situation is right now if you're interested in some of these. So I shall be putting some of those to good use in my project bags, particularly those big ones. I think I'm going to definitely need those. And my last happy mail came digitally, and a lady called Elaine, who runs Galliano cross-stitch designs, again on Etsy, messaged me and said would I be interested in having a 25% off code for all my viewers for her charts on Etsy. I was like, yes I definitely would be interested in that. So I've got a code for you to go on and get 25% off all her designs, but she also very kindly sent me her newest one, which is House of Christmas. Now this has been shown I think on 911 Stitchers Facebook group as well, and a couple of stitchers have already started stitching it, and it's amazing. There's such a lot of detail in this design. There's Merry Christmas, obviously, the banner, the fireplaces, the presents, the ho ho ho, all sorts of different things, and it's charted monochromatically, so basically that's just carte blanche for you to do whatever you want with it. You could stitch it monochromatically, you could stitch it with just a small palette of colours, or you could go absolutely crazy with it. Now she's quite a big stitch, 213 by 265, and the design area is given if you're going to do it 28 count over 1, which I'm not going to do a 28 count over 1, sorry. But my idea actually is, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch each of the floors and the roof separately. So I'm going to have 4 separate pieces, and I'm going to make each one into a drum so that they stack on top of one another. And this brings me to another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which is a website called Stitch Palette or Stitch Palettes. I'll put the link down below. And Stitch Palettes is fantastic for giving you colour combination ideas. It's all free. You just go on there and you can choose what sort of colours you think you might want to include, so blues, greens, reds, whatever you pick, or you can just browse through, and it will give you 6 shades that match, that contrast, that would basically make a nice palette with the sort of main colour that you want to go with, or the colours that you want to go with. So I was having a look on Stitch Palettes for this one, and I've come up with a couple of colour schemes that I think I'm going to maybe start with, and I might add a couple of things to it. So I'm going to go with a limited palette, but still kind of like a Christmassy vibe. So I'll put up in the corner here the couple of palettes that I've come with. It gives you the DMC colours, so it's really easy to know exactly what it is you want to do. So that's a brilliant website for these designs that are done and they don't give you any colour suggestions. So lots of the long dog samplers don't give you any colour suggestions. This one, so many of them, and you can just pick whatever it is you want. Or if you want to do a colour conversion, this is a really good place to have a look as well. So the code, if you want to get 25% off this or any of her other designs via Etsy, is MYLGB25, and I'll put that down below. It's all in capitals, but I don't know if that makes a difference. Maybe, maybe not. But MYLGB in capitals 25, so 25% discount, and that is going to be good for the next 7 days. So from Monday, when this video probably goes out, you've got 7 days to use that code if you haven't already used it from my Instagram. Right, plans. I want to talk to you a little bit about plans because I have got some big plans for January. I don't know why my brain started to come around to think about January. Probably because we'd all just like to be in January right now, wouldn't we? Just package this year up, put the tree up, call it done. But January, and this lady's sampler keeps tapping away in my head. So I'm going with it. I'm gonna do it for January. I'm gonna start her in January, and I put an Instagram post up showing the sampler, and did anyone want to start as well in January? And the response was amazing. So I'm just gonna have to reach her because I've left her over here. Ooh. There we go. Ooh. It's all gonna, my house of cards is gonna come down now. So this is her EF sampler 1864, and I've showed you this one before. It comes from Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly magazine, and I've got the CD-ROM that's got all of the designs on it, or you could choose to buy the individual issue if you can find the individual issue in a paper copy, and I'll put on the screen which issue it is because I can't remember off the top of my head. But also in the comments when I sort of put forward my idea for this sale, a lovely lady called Frenchy Joe 9920 said that she'd managed to buy in PDF form just the individual issue that's got this sampler in from Annie's catalogue. So I'll put the link that she shared with me down below so you can go and have a look You might not want the whole CD, you might not be able to get the whole CD, but if you want to do this and you haven't got it, then you can get just this issue here. So I've done quite a lot of kitting up this week. So these are the threads. You'll have to forgive them looking a little bit ramshackled because some of them are new skeins, some of them, the kind of 80s crinkly hairdo ones, are skeins that I've had on bobbins that I've unrolled. So these are all of the colours, and there is so many different colours, some brights, some muted, lots of greens there. You can see that reflected in the actual picture itself. And I've grabbed a couple of choices of fabric to go with it. Now, I'm not sure which of these two I'll go with, and by January there might even be another choice in the mix, or I might have decided another choice altogether. So my first one that I've got is a 36 count. They're both 36 counts, and this is by Hazel Anderson from Foxglove and Lace. Sorry if you can hear my daughter downstairs. It seems like, I don't know what she's doing. She's down there with her father, so I'm not too worried, or am I? They're a combination, those two. So that's my first possibility there. And sorry, I forgot if I'd said it all the way through. So this is by 36 count, Foxglove and Lace, Hazel Anderson via Instagram. She was having another sale, and she very kindly showed me some that I messaged her and said, have you got anything that might fit the bill? And she very kindly showed me a couple that might fit the bill, so I managed to grab this one ahead of the sale, and then I've got another one which I grabbed during the sale. So there's that one, and I also bought a piece of Weeks Dye Works Confederate Grey. So this is slightly darker, and as the name suggests, probably a little bit more grey in tone. So, of course, it's the old Weeks, so it looks like a dish rag until you do something with it. There we go. So that's my other current choice to go with those threads. So I've got until January to make my mind up about which one I want to go, but come January the 1st I should be starting, and it's going to be hashtag 1864 EF Sampler Sal. And if you fancy joining in, then please do. As I said, we've got lots of people who are really interested in starting. I'm not going to hold anyone to it, but just those people that replied on the post said that they were really interested. Michelle Made by Michelle McGraw, Amy the Gables Stitcher, Paw Squad Stitcher, Jen Walker, Heidi Cran, Michelle from the Striped Rose. You don't have to be called Michelle, by the way, to do this. This is open to anyone. So they were some of the people who really showed an interest in maybe starting it. So as I said, I'm not going to hold you to it because things change by January. But if you fancy joining in, then get yourself a copy of the chart and start kitting her up. She's got 39 colours. I did mine in the DMC. It is charted in silk, I think. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's charted in NPI with the DMC conversion, so that's what I'm going to do, is the DMC conversion. So, excuse me, I've got another tickle in my throat. Oh, there is chaos going on down there. There is chaos. What normally happens is she wants to take all the cushions off the sofa and then start jumping around on them and whatever else 4 3/4-year-old children want to do. But we've had she's got a wobbly tooth, In fact, she's got 2 wobbly teeth, which is a bit early, I thought, but when we googled it, it said anything between 5 and 6 they can oh, excuse me, they can lose the front 2, but if they came in early, which hers did, then they might go, well, they're still 4. So she's wandering around now just like wobbling it and wobbling it. In fact, both of the front teeth are wobbly, so we're starting the gappy years. Right, whips then. I have done quite a bit, I think. I've done quite a bit since I last saw you. I've got a couple of new starts, one that's nearly finished, and also I've been joining in with the Carolyn Manning SAL that's running via the 911 Facebook group. So I'll put the name of the SAL down below. In fact, let's start with that one. This is, to see those because there's not much to see, they're all in, I'll show you anyway. That's the threads for it, the one I'm doing. They're all in floss away bags at the moment. And the one that I'm doing, which I have showed you before, is the Baltimore album. I was inspired by a similar border to the one that I've just finished, obviously, with Santa's Trips. And I absolutely loved that border, so I picked up another one. And this is where I am. I haven't done a huge amount, but I have done some on it. Now, I haven't ironed this, I'm afraid, because I was working on it last night, so I haven't ironed it. This is, I'd had this done before, and I had most of this, I had this stitched, but not all of the white filled in. And so I've come across here now to start on the middle block of the 9, because then that'll make counting this block and counting this block easier. And this is quite an easy design to, you can't go far wrong with it. And if you get it right, then the counting of the block will be right. So this is where I am with this one. Stitched in DMC on 32 count Permin linen in the colourway 76. So it's kind of a greeny, it's definitely more of an olive green, I would say, an olive green. As I said, the light at the moment is just crazy, so hopefully you can see and get a good impression of that. I have put some pictures of it on my Instagram a few weeks ago, so if you want a better look at a colour, you might go and have a look on there. So I've been working on that one. The other thing that I have been working on, which I showed you in my whip parade, but I haven't shown you since, is a prairie schooler. One of the special editions. Now I'll pop a picture up for this one, but this is where I am on it. It's the 2007 special edition, and it's called Let It Snow. So when I started it, this is one of the ones that I'm trying to finish off. When I started it, I just really had this little house done and the majority of this snowman. So I've put the fence in and the little dudette on the sledge, and started on the Santa there. I'm really enjoying this. This is on the same fabric, a 32 count grey Zweigart, as the Yuletide Shanty. And I really want to finish this. I think I'm going to try and finish this as a little sort of drawstring bag. So I'm going to take it sort of reasonably close to the design, and then I'm going to put a cuff on the top. And I've not decided yet whether I'm going to just use, not that bit to back it with, or whether I'm actually going to find another fabric. I definitely want to do red for the cuff and the lining, but I don't know whether I'm going to just do this plain on the back, or whether I'm going to do something slightly different. So I'll have to wait and see what I've got in stash, because I don't think I'm going to be going fabric shopping anytime soon, and decide what happens with that one. Okay, this one is called Vodanyoi, I think. Vodyanoi. And this is from Forest Embroidery. This is the kit that I received a couple of weeks ago, actually while I was filming a video. It came. I've made a start, and this is my school project. This is the thing I take to work on in lunchtime because it's nice and handy. It's all in a little easy box to carry around. So these are the threads, and I think the last time I showed this, I've got the needle minder stuck to it as well, I said that I really liked these threads and wished, look at that rat's nest on the bottom there, you know, that we could buy them separately, especially this greeny one, this greeny blue one here. And a lady commented on the video and said that you can buy from Our Forest, you can buy threads from Our Forest. So next time I'm wanting to get a kit, I think I might try and add a few to my order, because they're really nice to work with. So I haven't done a huge amount, and look at that, I've got a massive thread here, and it's got some horrendous fold lines in it, so apologies. Having bought myself a new iron, I clearly haven't used it very much today. So I've got the beard and sort of the hands. I sort of started in the middle because I wasn't sure how much room really they were giving you on these, and so then I went up with the beard and then over onto the two, I think they're supposed to be cranes, but herons are my absolute favourite birds, so to my mind they're herons. And then I've just started up in the top corners with the lobsters here. I've kind of just stitched it as it came with the thread colours. I haven't tried to do too much sort of colour placement with the threads, although on the front cover it does show you sort of quite a bit more placement of colours. So all of the lobsters, for example, have the darker tips and then go to the lighter. So I've not really done that, I've just used it as it comes because this is my first Our Forest kitten, so I don't know how much thread I've actually got to play around with. If there was loads spare, then you could definitely really play with the colour placement, but if it's going to be a bit tight, then I've just stitched it as it is, and I like it perfectly just the way it is, don't get me wrong, but we shall see. I'll let you know how I get on with the threads. And the chart, for those of you who are interested, let me see if I can do that. It's a colour chart, so a big colour chart, and very, very clear, very, very easy to read. And then it does come with this other smaller chart, which I wasn't entirely sure what to do with. I don't know whether you can see, but it's got sort of bits of the chart blown up. And the idea is that you just cut these out and you stick them under your needle minder as you're working on that particular section, so you're not dealing with a massive A3 sheet of paper all the time. So I'm enjoying working on that one. Another new start that I had, is that it? Yes, another new start that I had. Bizarrely, this one was kind of calling to me as well. It must be the time of year. So this is from the Cross Stitch magazine, October 2016, just cross stitch. Fold this over so I can show it to you. And it's by Tempting Tangles, and it's called Smores BBQ. So Smores BBQ. And I just really like this one. I think it's just because it's this time of year. It was bonfire night in the week just gone, Thursday just gone, and obviously we can't really do anything here, so we just lit the fire pit in the garden, cooked on the fire pit, sat outside, ate our food. Chris made something that he calls full metal jacket potatoes, which is basically where you hollow out a jacket potato with an apple corer, and you put sausage meat in the middle and you cook it like that. And he made some cowboy baked beans, and we had burgers, and it was lovely. So we were sat outside, my daughter had some sparklers, and then we did toasted marshmallows. Now she loves to make them into a s'more. I'm not such a big fan of s'mores, but she really likes them. I prefer just the marshmallow toasted. But this is where I am with this, so I'll probably get this finished later on today. So it's got a bit of a crease down the middle as well. So there's my bear with his s'more, and basically all I've got left to do is the rest of the fire, and there's a little leaf up here, and I think I may add just some little bright orange and yellow beads in the fire, just for, you know, those crackly bits that come off when you're sitting around a fire. So I've really enjoyed stitching this one. It doesn't take very long. This is a piece of 32 count fabric that I dyed myself. It was already sort of a natural raw colour, and then I used those little Dynaflow paints that I showed you a couple of videos ago, maybe in the last sort of proper video, and I showed you those, and I just put in some greens, and there was some extra little blues in there as well, just to make it so it wasn't quite such a flat piece of fabric. So maybe you can see a little bit better just there. But I'm really looking forward to finishing him. I bought, actually from a charity shop, a really cheap plaid shirt, just a red and white check plaid shirt, to cut up to use for backing fabric. So I'm going to back this so it matches his little neckerchief there. And I've also got the idea, the shirt's got a pocket on it, and so I'm in half a mind to actually use the pocket as the backing, and so that my stitch has got a little pocket on the back. But I'll have to see, I haven't measured it and worked it out yet, but it's just an idea that I might just use the pocket. And my last whip was something that I started on the 1st of November, and I've actually seen since a couple of people have started it. One of them is April May June, who is another UK floss tuber, so go and check her out, I'll link her below. And this is what I've started. It's called the Pastoral, and so you can either make this pocket or you can stitch it as just as a sampler. So I've decided to stitch the pocket. I'm going to have a go at the pocket, and I've got this 32 count linen. I don't really know what it is, sorry. But it's a kind of raw feel to it, but it's slightly more yellow than a normal raw, if that makes any sense to you at all. So this is where I'm at so far. You can see just my little counting lines and the line that I'm running down, just to make sure that I'm staying centered, because obviously that's really important, because if you're going to then go about folding your pocket, so that would be the top of my pocket, and this is starting on the back of my pocket, and then obviously it's going to fold up underneath. It's really important to keep it all as, you know, all really well lined up, because everything needs to be straight down the edge and everything needs to then line up when you fold it up. So I'm using the called for colours, although because I'm an idiot, not all in the called for places, and I still don't know whether I'm going to unpick this or not. The colours, or the colour symbols for the greens, so there's two greens involved in this vine. There's the DMC that I've used as the outer vine. Let me do it this way. There's the DMC that I've used as the outer vine, and then there's a variegated, I think it's called moss, sorry, in the middle. Now one of the symbols is a square and the other symbol is a slightly heavier square, so I got them muddled up. And I don't know whether I'm just going to carry on, because the only place it makes a difference is this front bit and then the other front bit that sort of comes up and tucks under it. Everywhere else, it's fine, but obviously they have to be the same. So I don't know whether to pull this out and swap them round, or not. And there's quite a lot of stitching there, so part of me thinks not, but part of me also thinks that I don't like, sorry I keep nudging you, I don't like necessarily the way that they've filled in the centre. So I may just pull the centres out and try and make those lighter, because there's not many leaves that have got darker centres and lighter around the outside. So I don't know, the jury's still out on that one, what I will do. I'm going to carry on and stitch this panel, and then I will probably decide, I'll have to decide because I'm going to have to do the return for that one. So we shall see what happens. Right, I'm going to pause there because I've got quite a bit of haul, and I just need to pull it over, so I'll back in a minute. So my first bit of haul actually goes with this little finished stitch. Now I'm really glad actually, because the last time I showed this on my Halloween edition, the colour of the fabric didn't really work at all. It blew out terribly. So that's showing up really nicely. So what I've bought for that to go with it is just another little broomstick. I'm sure I could make these if I go about them, but they're so cheap to pick up on eBay. It's just as easy. So I'm going to turn that. I might do a tag finish or a tag style flat finish with this, and then mount this little broomstick somewhere on there, because I've got it on another, you can't see it, it's up there, a little Barbara Anna finish that I did. I'll put a picture up, and I popped a little broomstick on there and it made such a difference to the finish, and it looked really, really nice. So I've picked up another one of those. If you're ever looking for something along those lines, something little to finish off a piece with, if you search, like I did on eBay actually, if you search what you're looking for and then doll's house, you're going to get something that's on a really nice little scale for your piece. So yeah, have a look and see. So what else have I got in this giant pile of things? Start with what's at the top. So this one, I really like this pattern, and I just needed something just to take me over the free postage for Peakside Needlework. So this one. This is called Western Witch by Kathy Barrick. Really like that. The tombstones in the top corner there are over 1. So, and I think I've dyed some fabric that's going to be perfect for that colour. So that was my first bit of haul. This one came from Chris at the Nimble Thimble, or Tanat 2 on eBay, which is actually where I get most of my things from her. I've never actually been to the shop, although as soon as lockdown's over I sense a road trip coming on. And it's called The Sleepless Stitcher by Puntini Puntini. 1, 2, 3, 4, I could stitch a little more. And she's had this chart, she does quite a lot from this designer. She's had this chart on 2 separate times and twice I've missed it. So this time when I saw she had it back in stock, I was on it. This is my Fabric of the Month Club from Patchwork Rabbit. So it's a Picture This Plus Fabric of the Month Club from Patchwork Rabbit. And now I've switched this time. I can't remember if I'd switched last time. I'd switched this time to 36 count, just because I find Picture This Plus 40 count just a bit tight for my preference. So I've gone to 36 count, and this is called Chalice. It's not normally a colour that I would go for, but it's really, really lovely. It's a sort of orangey, peachy colour. Really, really like it. I'm gonna have to find something to go on it. It'll be something, it's something out of my, not out of my comfort zone, that's not the truth, but it's something that I wouldn't normally go for. So it's going to be interesting to put it onto something. And this is a bit more of my advent calendar. So in here are another 6 threads that she's picked out for me. I don't know what they are. She's double bagged it. So come December, I'm going to get Christopher to put them in our advent house so that I don't see what they are, and then I'm going to get to open one every day. So I'm really happy about that. What's in here? Oh, I said I bought a lot of DMC this past fortnight. This is for the October snapshot. So I've done, no, it's for the November snapshot. I've done and finished the October snapshot, and so I'm on to November. I'll do it on the same 32 count picture, not picture this plus, Vintage Country Mocha. So I got Vintage Country Mocha. I can hear you all shouting at me. I'll do it on the same fabric, and it will just get changed out to go in that frame. I'm not going to try and put it back there because that is too dangerous. Okay, what else have I got? This one, I had to grab a copy of that. Blackbird Designs Early Christmas Morning. Again, it's a nice drum to make. And this one, there's been loads of new patterns out recently. Loads of new patterns, which has been very exciting. This is by La Di Da Auspicious Hope, and I just love that blue border. It says, "Auspicious hope in thy sweet garden grows, wreaths for each toil and charms for every woe." I thought that was lovely. We've really enjoyed the garden this year because, well, we've not had a lot else to enjoy, have we? But our garden has been really, really fabulous this year. I picked up another piece of fabric from Foxglove and Lace from Hazel, and again it's a 36 count, and this one is called Vellum. Now actually this is quite a similar colour to what you would get using a walnut dye. So, but she shows you in her Instagram sales, she shows you the piece, and I just really liked the level of mottling on this one. I know I can dye my own fabric, but I wanted this piece because I liked that piece. We're all a bit like that sometimes, aren't we? I grabbed this one from Etsy, from Lucy Bean. I Will Cut You. Thinking about putting that next to my scissors. Anybody who takes them, I will cut you, but not with my scissors. I'll get a pair out of the kitchen drawer. I'm not cutting you with my embroidery scissors because that would just defeat the object, but I will cut you. So I really like that one. She was having a sale. I can't remember what the discount was, but I want to say like 20% maybe. I don't know if it's still going on. We can go and have a look. I grabbed, now this one's on the top, so I'm going to show you this one. I've looked at this design lots and lots of times, and you can see my scribblings on it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I've looked at this design lots and lots of times, and I like it. And then somebody on, not the last video, the video before, said this chart on this fabric, and genius, absolute genius. So that fabric, that chart. Now the reason it's got lots of scribblings on it is because I was attempting, and I don't know if I'm going to get there completely, but I was attempting to see if I could convert these colours into sulky threads, because that's a 36 count fabric. This one is also a 36 count fabric, and I stitched it on using the sulky thread, and I really like the colour of the black, the density of the black, because sulky's just that bit thicker. So I went to Sulky and I picked up 2 king spools of their black. Now there is, does it tell me on here? Yeah, 300 yards or 270 metres on each of these spools, and they were £2.70 each, £2.70 with postage. So just to make the postage a little bit more worthwhile, I also picked up another king spool in a variegated grey. Now, I don't have any plans for the variegated grey. I didn't pick it up for this one, but I was trying to see if I could match some of the colours. Now, because Sulky doesn't have as many colours as DMC, there's not a direct match for each one. So I'm going to start with the black, and then I'm going to see what other colours I can pop in. They've got a grey, which I think might be suitable for this castle here, and then the yellows and things. When you first look at it, it doesn't look as if there's many colours in there, but there are quite a few. So I'll have a look and see. I'm really also excited about grabbing, and I don't know why I didn't. I must have taken leave of my senses. I really want to grab a white as well in the Sulky, again for use on 36 count fabric, just to give you that kind of denser white that you sometimes need. Had a couple of eBay charts, either eBay or Stash and Load. Scattered Seeds, Miss Isabella Black, I really like that. And I also picked up this one as well, the Silver Creek Samplers, the Christmas, what's it actually called? It doesn't say. No, it doesn't say on there. Silver Creek Samplers, the Christmas sayings, the Christmas list one. You've all seen it, I'm sure. So that obviously is going to have to be a next year one. I'm thinking about probably a 32 count Vintage Country Mocha for that one. We'll see. We'll see. Let's not borrow troubles from next year, shall we? And I also grabbed on Stash and Load this one. I've been wanting this one for a while. Heaven and Nature by Teresa Kogut. This is a big one. This is a really big one. 284 by 360. And the called for is a mixture of classic colourworks, DMC and Weeks Dye Works. But some of them you need, like for example the brick, you need 4 skeins of the Weeks Dye Works on 40 count, so just using one strand. So again, this may have to wait until next year when everything, hopefully, fingers crossed, is a bit more back to normal in terms of getting hold of thread and stuff. I also picked up this one, which was released by Twin Peak Primitives, and I just thought that looked epic. I just loved that really dark windmill, and I'm thinking, actually, looking at it, that I may use 36 count and some of the Sulky again, because there's black, there's a dark grey, which I know I've got in a Sulky as well, the white, a brown, and so on. So possibly before Christmas, you never know. Two more things that I picked up. I managed to pick up a copy of Bally by Rosewood Manor, and I love this. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I absolutely loved it. And I think here are the threads for that one. Lots of nice peaches and pinks and greens. And the fabric I've put aside for it is this one, which came from Victorian Motto. It's a bit more yellow than is showing there, and it is called Old Colonial. But those threads on there I really like the colour of those. I fancy swapping out for, I'm on a 36 count kick at the moment, so if I can find something 36 count, maybe what I don't use for the EF sampler I might use for this one, although I do really like the kind of overall yellow tone that it's got to it. It is called for Earthen from Picture This Plus, 32 count Earthen from Picture This Plus. So we'll see what happens. Again, it's calling to me, but not very loudly. And then the other thing that I got is the Quakers in Scotland sampler by Tempting Tangles. Now this is still a SAL at the moment, although all of the parts are out, so I bought it as a SAL. It was $6.50. I'm going to put a picture of it finished up in the corner because there isn't a picture, obviously, until it's released fully. There isn't a cover photo of it. But I really liked it because it's got all the Scottish motifs in it, and my mum's Scottish. And it's also got a Loch Ness Monster in there, which is very special to us as well. So I'm really looking forward to getting started on this one. It won't be until the new year for definite, but I'm really looking forward to getting started on that one. And this SAL was £6.50, $6.50, so it's actually in pounds, £5 something. So I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how reasonably priced it was, especially the other Tempting Tangles charts that I looked at were like $13, $15, so not, you know, not out of the way or anything, but this one was $6.50, so I was like, I'm going to get that, definitely. Really nice. It's on a lot of different pages because obviously it was a SAL, it was a 16-part SAL, but because it's on a lot of different pages, I won't show you an individual page, but you can just see through the back there, you can see how clear it is. So it's going to be really nice to stitch, I think, this one. And it is charted in DMC with a few beads and a four-sided stitch. Yeah, four-sided stitch of those. So there is what it's been like for me for the last couple of weeks. I hope you've had a enjoyable time with me this afternoon or evening or morning or whenever you're catching up with me, and I hope you have another couple of really good weeks. I'm starting to think about Christmas stitching. The things that I'm picking up tend to be a bit Christmassy, so there'll be some more Christmassy stitching to show you. And I've kind of got an idea of doing a programme or an episode where I show you all my finishes, so everything that I finished from December last year all the way through to November this year. So I'm thinking maybe of doing a 12 months of finishes, because I'm starting to put all my finishes up together on my spreadsheet that I keep. It's not a very detailed spreadsheet, it just keeps me in check, and I think I'm up to something like 40 finishes, and the vast majority of those are actually FFO'd as well. So some of them you'll have seen, some of them you won't have seen, so let me know if you want to see a few more finishes and things like that. So anyway, until next time, happy stitching, keep safe, take care.